All right. Hey, Star Wars fans and Rule the Galaxy fans. Little bit of a delayed live stream start tonight. I was messing around trying to find the group watch feature on Disney Plus, and then I went to my good old friend Twitter, and I have found that Disney has removed the group watch feature. So, yeah.
My dad was just watching.
So not great. Not a great start. I was running a little behind, but not this behind. So we're gonna get started here in a couple minutes here. But Alfie, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good, chaos as usual here at the Molinaro household, but that's the way we like it, and we're ready to get started with this episode.
Exactly. It's chaos for me too. I was painting out front of my house today, and there was this bush that, like, you know how you see like a bush in your peripheral? It just had like a branch sticking sideways out of it. I can't tell you how many effing times I hit my shin on that bush today, bleeding. Like I every time I would hit it, like I wanted to tie a rope around that bush and rip it out of the ground and like throw it a mile. But the bush is still there. It won for today. And while I'm sitting here rambling, we have our guy who's usually watching with us on the group watch. He's always in the comments and, supporting us, and we appreciate it. So we told Adam Parker last week, why don't you just join us next week for the podcast? So Adam, what's going on? How are you doing?
I'm living the dream. I'm 2 scoops of sunshine, ready to watch some Ahsoka. I was gonna say you need some shin guards probably.
That's a good idea.
That bush, one of the two. I don't know, but excited to leave the comment section and watch some Ahsoka.
Yeah, man. Do you want to give us a little like background on yourself as far as like Star Wars goes and everything before we get started?
Yeah, I'll try to be quick too, but I mean, I grew up with it. It's I'm a lawyer. That's my job, right? So my entire family, they're all engineers. Star Wars is sort of the ways we bonded, right? Like my brother and I, my dad actually, you couldn't buy the VHS tapes for a while. And I remember we had these like old Kodak VHS tapes where he like recorded it from TV, and we wore those suckers out. I remember asking my grandma for like the trilogy, and I got it like, there wasn't a special edition. I actually have it over here somewhere. But it was just the original trilogy, and watching that, like crazy. And, it's funny. I recognize, I identify with y'all a lot because you talk about downloading the old trailer, with the 56K modem. And I'm like, yeah, totally did that. But we had a T1 or something similar. It was a big deal when we got it, and watched that trailer 1,000 times for episode 1 and just loved it. And it's just always been with me, man. It's, I hadn't been into the animated stuff until probably the last 2-3 years. And then it's just kind of, taken on a whole nother, meaning and stuff. So it's a way I connect with my family, and I just love it. So
yeah. That's great. Yeah. And that's the thing I love about Star Wars is like when I was in that line for the theater edition that I did not get to see last week, I got to bring that up one more time. I got to say one more time that I didn't get to see.
No good. But come on, Bob. Come on,
it's the best the best part is standing in line by yourself, and it's just like, everyone there is Star Wars fans, so you can talk to the guy in front of you can talk to the girl behind you, it doesn't matter, like everyone is like, you could talk about something because you're all Star Wars fans. So like that's why it's fun to have you on, and we always appreciate you commenting, and it definitely adds to the show and everything. It definitely makes it even more fun, so we're excited to go here.
I'm pumped. Let's go.
Yeah. So we'll do
like, let's go.
Yeah, there you go. LSU, baby. Now LSU won, right?
So, yeah, we did. I think 41-14 Mississippi State. So Arkansas coming up this week. So. And I'll say that's how I found y'all too. T-Bob. I listen to sports radio in Baton Rouge, and I think Joey came on and did a bang up job impersonating Nick Saban and every other coach, right? So you're like, whoa, who's this guy? And then they talked about Star Wars, and then I found the podcast, and I've got a lot of family in Philly. I know Brent's a teacher. All my in-laws except for my father-in-law, they're all teachers, special education teachers. I was a high school math teacher, and just a lot of commonalities with y'all. So
absolutely, yeah.
And I like to just chop it up about Star Wars. That's kind of the thing,
Yeah, we just pretty much just throw this thing together, and it has a beginning and it has an end, and we call it a podcast every week, pretty much, right, Alfie?
Yeah, somehow it works.
Yeah, we just have fun with it, and we've met a lot of cool people through it. So we're really happy to have you on, and get this thing going. So I might have to I might have to like mute myself and play this through my screen or something like that, because yeah, I don't know, or I might have to figure something out volume wise for whatever. But yeah, we're gonna get going here. I'll do a countdown and we'll start this thing up.
Where are
All
you
right?
starting it from?
I'm starting it from the Disney Plus click. I'm gonna start it right from the freaking getting rid of group watch, man. Freaking Bob Iger. What the hell are you doing?
Come on, Bob.
Pardon my language, Azalea said a bad word, but
It's all right. My mom says bad words, doesn't she?
not Dad though, right?
Oh, yeah,
He never
only
says
no,
any
only-
bad words. All right, we're gonna start the stream here in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's me.
Dude, we're seeing Thrawn in this episode. Do you think it's even going to start with Ahsoka, or do you think it's going to start with Thrawn?
I think this will be a whole bad guy episode.
Yeah.
Or a Sabine episode.
Sabine.
Well, I guess she is still.
I think we're going to get a lot of Balin and Shinhati
Yeah.
and Morgan.
Holly's right.
Dude, that costume is sick.
It is nice. So many teeth too. I forgot. It's like they almost look like hairs.
Yeah. This is Space Finding Nemo right here.
Yes, it is. I didn't know you spoke whale.
What is that?
You think Pinocchio's going to be in there? Like just, they
Yeah.
drop a Disney Easter egg, sort of like the Indiana Jones stuff. Pinocchio just hanging out in the corner.
That
You gotta
would be
look for him.
great. That would be great. Dark music to start.
No, we're going with Purgle.
Oh, that would be fun to ride.
That probably be fun. Look at all the rainbow.
I see that.
It's flashing rainbow.
Hey.
I love rainbows.
Me too.
Me and Emerson like rainbows.
Let me hold this.
Ed, you hold this for a second. I'm gonna look at something.
Oh, they did it.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Far, far away.
I love
Holly, stop.
Oh, I thought she wasn't going to be a prisoner.
Looks like it.
Who's that?
Um,
And that person talking to her. Good dad.
Those droids are sweet, man.
yeah.
Daddy, you know there's a ride that
Whoa.
is the ride.
Is that little burnt effect on the ring there? Or it looks
That
like
looks
it's like,
freaking sweet.
yeah.
Same thing when you're driving in space. That's the same thing. I'm double. I want some milk.
Interesting. Lion King now.
Who are them?
Yeah, I know.
If it's the end of the migratory route for the whales too, that's good. I guess we can catch up, right?
Yeah. They don't like each other.
Oh wow, that's a cool ship.
Yeah, they're flying in style, man.
The wings kind of popped out. Good shuttle.
Maybe her and Sabine will become friends on this trip, even though they just keep angrily staring at each other.
I could see that.
Who's that?
Oh.
Wait, it might be Han Solo. But he doesn't have thing that's gray
Did they say this planet was
Let's
called
watch and see.
Perilia?
in his face.
There's rain and water in this other galaxy.
Damn.
So where's the Star Destroyer at?
Minas Tirith.
Where's the soul?
Look at that ship, man.
All right.
Dude, this show doesn't play around, man.
No. Gets right to it.
Seriously.
We just built a whole new galaxy. We got a whole new world. Got some mysterious red people.
I can bounce it on my head. Daddy,
Yes.
do you know what's
12.
Oh, Night Sister.
12?
Do we have live action Night Sisters?
What are those?
Night Sisters. They're like witches.
Welcome, child. You do love us. Thank you. You heard our call to you in the dream. Your visions got
So I had put a voice on.
as you pray. You shall wait. He is coming. It is the chill. It is dangerous.
Is the bean gonna be a bad person?
Watch and see.
What is that?
I don't know.
What is that walking? There's two. That's three. How many is there? What are you doing?
Just watch.
Okay. Yeah.
It won't.
They just called Sabine it.
Yeah.
Jeez. Balin doesn't feel good about this.
Gonna say Balin might reek a little Jedi too.
He doesn't
Got a
like
little-
this at all.
I don't like this. I don't like it. Scary.
And I mean, you know, witches is kind of like the pejorative, right? They don't like being called witches to their face, and he's just more witches. I mean, they probably heard that.
Yeah.
Wolves. Did you see the wolves in the corner over there?
I saw
I
that.
did not see them.
Can I go get my iPad?
Yeah.
Somebody touch. Daddy, don't touch my iPad.
Sometimes things are just agility.
It makes sense.
I can't hear it.
He's not just asking.
No.
Damn. More.
Interesting.
Did he sign up for the mission just to kill Thrawn?
I could see that.
I don't think they're gonna like that.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
The hell is going on, dude? This is some creepy stuff.
There it is.
Yeah. That's such a cool view.
Dude, that is freaking crazy.
Oh, what's underneath? Oh man. What are those markings underneath it? Man, is to me or is the coloring look different in the bottom of that star? There's like
Yeah, it's kind
or
of
it's just
damaged.
damaged or something. Yeah.
Dude, incredible audio work in this episode so far. It is creepy.
It's
Yeah,
setting
I
that
can't
eerie
wait to
scene.
go back and watch this and be able to listen to it. Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at that.
Whew.
What? Oh, we
Are they
got him.
zombies?
Holy
is.
crap, dude.
Here he is.
Yo, this is wild. I've never seen anything like this before in Star Wars, dude.
And
This
then-
is
yeah,
wild.
that like organ in the
I've been
background.
waiting since like 1993 to see a live action Thrawn. This is incredible.
How doesn't it say that? I was talking about
Oh.
why I love Star Wars, this rise of, you know, that trilogy way back when we had no. Go look at him, man. This is so cool.
This is too much.
So,
This
so
shit
good.
is wild, dude.
Just answer the question. So that's it. You're just gonna let me walk out of it? If you survived, I'm sure it's doing just fine. You can understand. How about you honest? On a ride, you gotta go.
You're like a rat?
It's like either
This
a
guy with the
nutria-
gold face is weirding me out, man.
Yeah, that thing is. I don't think I want to ride that. It's like a dog rat. It's a giant
Yeah,
dog rat.
seriously.
I was gonna say like a South Louisiana thing is called a nutria rat. I don't know if you guys know that. I was like,
Never heard one of those.
Know what those
Yeah.
are? Wow.
Just say that guy's mask. It's not a Pike Syndicate mask, but it kind of has that gold look. It's not.
Yeah.
He's like Destro.
Yeah. All that red tape around the troopers too. I was like trying to. Just looked cool. I don't know the functional use of all that red tape.
I don't think he's going to do it.
Dude, this is just freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't say that this isn't new or creative or any of that BS. This
Seriously.
is something.
Do you ever remember hearing organ? I mean, all that use of the organ in the background too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it reminds me of like Zelda 64 and going up Ganon's castle or something. It's
Yeah.
got this ominous, like it's gonna be bad. Oh.
Oh,
Hmm. Like they have sand people in another galaxy.
Yeah. It's like Shogun Sand people.
seriously. I kind of forgot she had a lightsaber for a second there.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough to fix. And her giant nutria rat steed is now gone. So this is
I
even
know.
worse.
I want the rat to come back.
Well, there we go. There's two of them.
Yeah, now they have.
And that look, he was like, "Did you really just ask me that question?"
Oh,
Oh no, I like this thing. Yeah.
he did just bail right out right when the shooting
He's like,
began. He ran real quick.
I'm gone. See you guys. He's got to come back. There we go. There we go. See, this is such a dog. We had the Loth cats and how they act, and this is such a dog.
Seriously.
Okay. But I'll give you another chance. Better not fail on me. Got it? Well, friend, your world. You got something? Now what?
What the hell?
Like a hermit crab?
Yeah, see that.
What?
Oh, it's got a little outfit on. What?
Just like a little hermit crab, a hobbit thing.
Well, the music in the background's very like. I know I keep killing the music. It's like a little piccolo, or it sounds like New Hope. You know.
Kind of reminds me of the little frog guy from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
This. You like this?
Oh.
What?
Do you know Ezra?
The dog is just like, what the hell? He's like, I want to eat all of these things.
I don't believe it. You must know Ezra Frederick. Please.
Subtitle stages are called like noti or nati.
He's my friend. We know him. We've seen him. Hey.
I'm way too attached to this rat dog already.
Yeah, it got me sucked in already.
I'm calling him Gator Rat Dog because he's got like a gator snout.
That's true.
It's like, but then yeah, he's like yeah, it's Gator Rat Dog.
Then she survived. No, too young. Comes from the breed of Bobby Jedi, in the wild, into the temple fell. He was trained to Jedi. Really? Bias, ideas. They're not the truth. The weakness. Who's that in jail? I see what once was. Existence of the great ones. Absolutely.
Interesting.
I really don't want this episode to end.
I know.
Yeah. It does a good job of just all being, I mean, it's brand new, right? But it still feels like Star Wars. It's not
Absolutely.
just, I threw some space stuff together, got all the elements. I like these goofy little no teeth. Like I just
I know. They're like Slug Ninja Turtles.
yeah. Got their own language, like it's kind of oh yeah, look, I got a Jedi. Yeah.
Oh my God! Look at the
It's like
baby.
yeah, it's like a
Jeez.
baby.
Again, soundtrack just incredible so far. Like you've been calling it out, Adam. Soundtrack has been fire.
Just so much range to it,
Yeah.
I mean, this like camper village is also super interesting. Like, what the like?
Yeah.
They're nomads clearly, and they kind of they almost look like shells on their jet stream shell looking things.
Yeah.
I see a Jedi symbol on one of the corners. It looked like.
Tell me Ezra's just living with these.
He just pops out of one of them. Yeah. There we go.
Damn.
Man, wow.
I got chills.
Well, you didn't exactly tell any of us where you were going.
That's because I didn't know where I was going.
Typical. Oh, kind of. Never the one.
Work. See my friend found you.
Yes. You're very own band of rebels.
so many questions. Right? How that? That.
Hey, I just want to be happy that I found you. Always like,
Did what? Mom, I understand this place very well.
Alex, I still want Zeb too. It'd be cool if Zeb was in another one of these huts, but you know, that wouldn't
Right.
line up with Mandalorian.
So,
Ezra looks cool with a beard.
Yeah, he does. It's really good casting. What exactly are they loading?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering when I saw that cargo. I was wondering if it was just more material.
Making some weird noise when it goes by, for sure.
Star Wars. Right. Once again, we fire.
that is the mom's.
Man,
That was good.
Oh my gosh, man.
so good.
That was incredible. All right,
I
I'm
mean, I
gonna.
got so much more Thrawn than I was expecting too. Like,
I know.
I
I'm
figured,
gonna.
hey, I mean, you know, there's got to be some. You get to this place, and then you got to. I'm glad they didn't do that. They just went straight into Thrawn as they've been built it up for so long. You know.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna press the I'm gonna press the reset button on this after that, and we're gonna go right into some podcast action here because that was freaking awesome. All right, so
Yeah.
what time are we at here? We're at 50 minutes, so that makes it easy for me to tell Joe where to grab the podcast from. Shout out to Joe. So, all right, guys, welcome to Rule of the Galaxy podcast. We just finished watching Ahsoka episode 6. That was freaking awesome. As you heard in the pregame show, we're here with Adam Parker, and we have Alfie here. I think Brent said in the comments that he is out this evening. Yes, he did. I'm out this evening. Wish you could be here, Brent. I'm sorry, but damn, I mean, we'll Adam, what are your initial thoughts? We'll start with you since you're the guest tonight. What are your initial thoughts after just watching that episode?
I mean, I mean, it's just it was all brand new, right? So you didn't know what to expect going in, and it had Star Wars elements to it, but with all new, I mean, just new things, right? And I didn't expect to hear organ in Star Wars like that, right? I hear this organ playing every time Thrawn's going on. I'm like, that just does such a good job setting the atmosphere making, just building him up. And also they nailed his voice, they nailed his look, he nailed his cadence, like the way he's walking around. It just everything about Thrawn to me was perfect. He had kind of puffy pants, I noticed, but I'm like, maybe I just missed that before. So he kind of threw that a little bit of poof to it. But I mean, just the look of him was so good. And then the stormtrooper army, the way they're kind of like, to just put together, kind of weathered, been there a while, clearly, limited resources. The way they told the story just visually was impressive. The creature work on this, right? Like we were talking about what they call them, the howlers. Those were just so much fun just the back and forth between, Sabine and the howler, and just, having that interaction with your own dog being like, yeah, it's not going to listen to me. Come on, come follow. And then, also these, just all the creature work was so much fun. It was just such a good atmosphere to spend 50 minutes in. And, I think kind of set the stage very well. It had different, playful times. And then it also had just, like this, okay, we're really advancing the plot. And I'm glad that they did that in episode 6 instead of just doing another. I was kind of thinking we weren't going to get Thrawn this episode. It's going to be like 7 or 8. We're going to delay a little bit longer. I'm like, I'd just go in. They had good pacing and I enjoyed it. So those are my long form thoughts. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of them. Alfie, how are you feeling right now after seeing Thrawn in there?
I'm going to reference back to our good friend Nick Chesky, who always talks about, 11-year-old Nick being mad when anybody badmouths the prequels. This made 15-year-old Alfie really happy. I've said it before. I never thought after Return of the Jedi that we get to see like Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. And we got a glimpse of that in Mando season 2. I, for the life of me, never thought it would be possible to see live action Grand Admiral Thrawn, and it lived up to my expectations. Completely blown away by it. It was perfect.
I love it. And really the only difference I would say, because the actor who's playing him is the actor who did his voice, and it's bothering me that I can't think of his name right now, the actor who does his voice, because he's the brother of
Lars Mikkelsen.
Yeah, right? Mikkelsen. Yeah. He the only difference is that like Thrawn in Rebels is like super skinny, like slender. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, to me, that's the only difference. Like it's just seeing him in human form. And dude, my theory on those stormtroopers, Adam, I don't know if you've ever read the book Death Troopers. I think they're Death Troopers, dude. I don't think they're alive. I think the Night Sisters have put some spell on whoever was in those uniforms before, and those guys are all undead inside.
I could totally see that. Like I said, I know the musical notes, but like you usually hear zombie music with organs kind of in the background, the little creep thing going, and they totally had that going. So I could see it. Sorry, Alfie, you're to say something.
Oh, you're fine. It has to do something with, I can't remember the word. I told you guys about it months ago. It's a Japanese form of mending metals, and it has that color that stands out between the two pieces. And yeah, that's really what the Stormtrooper armor looks like. That was something I read in the spoilers a long time ago, and along with the Destro looking guy. I didn't think they'd be really able to pull it off well, make it believable, but that looked really good.
Now, who is that? Destro? Who is that?
Oh yeah, you're too young to remember G.I. Joe, D-Doc.
Okay, Destro.
No, I'm remembering who you're talking about. Yeah, from now you mentioned G.I. Joe. Okay, it was familiar, but I know who you're talking about.
He had the silver face.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I just. I don't know. That was one where it's like after last week, what we had with Anakin and Ahsoka and everything that happened in that episode, it's like this is a no filler show. You're eating every episode on this show. Like they're not messing around. Every single scene. What is Balin's end game going on here? Like what's he got going on right now?
I kind of am on the path to thinking that he only took this job to kill Thrawn when he had the chance and to prevent another war.
Kill Thrawn, restart, something like the Jedi, some sort of, because it seemed like he's at several points said, hey, he's got nostalgia for the Jedi, and hey, they didn't realize their vision, right? So he's going to start something new, and he's got to clear some of the impediments. It was funny, he's talking about the cycle over and over, and they got kind of meta a couple of times, right? With Hu Yang saying a long time ago in the galaxy far, far. I love that part at the beginning, but it was like, please don't say it's like poetry. It rhymes. Please don't. The conversation. Don't say it. But I think he wants to start fresh and have something brand new, and that's that, and that involves killing Thrawn, and kind of destroying the witches or something. Something's got to. He's out to kill something.
Yeah, and this brings me back to elements similar to like Jedi Fallen Order. I don't know, like there was a lot of Night Sister elements in that as well. And Night Sisters, I think, could be like a really great future role within Star Wars to be something different other than stormtroopers or whatever else. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I love seeing stormtroopers all the time, especially these new versions that we just saw in this episode. Like, they're intimidating. Like, you see a stormtrooper, you look at them, you're like, oh yeah, they're probably gonna miss, they're probably just gonna get killed, whatever. Like, these dudes were intimidating. Like, that was creepy. I was yeah, kids were probably uncomfortable if they were watching this episode. You know what I mean? Like, with the Night Sisters and everything, like that was like some like horror movie type stuff.
Yeah, they were just the Night Sisters alone were really scary looking. I thought they're pretty creepy. And
their voices too, the effect that they did on their voices when they were talking, like I loved it. I really loved it. I mean, there's like a handful of things that I could think of with this episode that I just absolutely loved.
Well, particularly with that stormtrooper shot, I mean, there were so many. It was like a wall of them, right? And then they've got that red tape. I was talking about reacting, and it's like, what is that red tape? Now I'm thinking it's like mummy tape almost, right? It's like wrapped around, kind of draped off on the side, and totally going with that undead vibe, which it meshes well with their voices were weird. It's like all the, 3 or 4 different voices at once, right? Different, deeper and the higher and all that. And I honestly, getting Dathomir and witches in live action, that's not something I ever really expected. I remember when I first saw them in animation, I was like, wait, what is this? This is I didn't know this existed, right? And to get them and how they're driving the plot so effectively, it's interesting. It's well done.
It is. And I have a buddy who watches all these Star Wars shows, but has never watched 1 ounce of animation. You won't watch any of the animated shows. So I always think about what he's thinking while he's watching the show. So I'm excited to actually talk to him after this and be like, what'd you think of that? Because he's just going to be like, who the hell is that guy? Ezra? That, like, what's up with this guy? It'll be fun. But honestly, it's like, I feel like for someone who has never watched any of these animated shows, there's such great mystery to what's going on with Ezra, with Thrawn, with what's going on in this. So it actually is kind of cool if you've never seen any of that stuff before to have this be your first intro to it,
Well, it's cool because we've watched it, right? But it's still a mystery to us, right? Like, I mean, I had great anticipation for this because, like you said, last week, I mean, I think 10 out of 10, perfect, wouldn't change a thing, but very much like a lot of, okay, well, we've seen Clone Wars before. We know, it might be new to somebody just that only watches live action, but we saw some of those beats before, and then she kind of got past it, and we went in this, and this is the start of something just brand new, right? Like, I don't think any of us knew. We knew we were going this Peridia, right? But that's all new for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. And I think the planet is sweet too. And I'm also interested to see, where we go with we've got 2 episodes left. So, they said fire on any Purgle coming in, don't let any Purgles get close to here, essentially. So we still need Ahsoka to get on this planet, with Sabine and with Ezra, and it's going to be damn interesting. It's like this show just keeps bringing it every single week, and I have no doubt that next week it's going to again, and nothing better happened to that freaking dog. I'm telling you right now. That thing's getting on the ship with them at the end of this show.
Yeah, they can't leave it behind. No way they leave it behind. Just that shot of his destroyer coming over that temple, man, that was – it's hard to believe that was for television and not on the big screen, because that was just a beautiful shot.
Yeah, I totally.
There was so much detail to it. I know it's trying to like make it. It almost looked like there were. It wasn't like when in Mando, season 3 when we had we got the mythosaur skull and we could see that at the bottom. It was like some sort of marking or something to.
Isn't it?
And then the damage on the side too, right? Like, because obviously that would have happened, right? Whenever the Purrgil latched on and took him here, but yeah, it was like some sort of. It almost looked like some marking that was associated with the witches. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
like
just
the
imagining it.
bottom of it, almost had a tattoo, I would
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
On it. And then you had all those repairs and all the gold on it, like, is there any symbolism to all this gold, Alfie? Do you know, like, if
I think it's going to be, how the Night Sisters in the galaxy that we know, their magic is green. I would imagine in this one it's going to be gold. But then, like I was saying, I looked it up too. It's called kintsugi. I could be saying it wrong, and that's the Japanese art of melding broken things together with gold. So if you looked at their stormtrooper armor, they had a lot of gold on them, like in the cracks and stuff.
Cool. Almost like soldering, but with gold.
Right. Like what the monkey alien did to Kylo Ren's mask in The Rise of Skywalker, but he used red.
Okay.
I think it's called like Saracen iron or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of curious because the ship, even the ring, the Eye of Sion thing that they built, incorporates a lot of gold.
Yep.
Well, that shuttlecraft
Kintsugi.
coming out of the Eye of Sion, that was completely gold, right? With the retractable wings and all that. It's a pretty neat design.
Yeah, which that's just not a color scheme that we've seen in Star Wars other than, to me, it just reminds me of like the High Republic or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We got it with Snoke, I guess, wearing his robe, right? But not with it. But
and slippers.
Oh, slippers too. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's more higher. It's not something you see normally, but it fits. It completely fit.
Because it's supposed to be ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up some pictures here of the kintsugi because that really I can see it. I'm gonna share the screen here for anyone watching on YouTube. It is pretty much like yeah. I could definitely see that, Alfie. That's pretty damn cool. Gold mending, like if pot's broken, whatever. That's pretty freaking cool. All right.
See, look at us branching out here, learning new things.
We're always learning every week here on Roll the Galaxy podcast. That's what we do. We're going to go back to the regular. Look at me. I'm like huge on here right now.
Yeah.
We'll just go back to a regular triple box.
There we go.
Yeah.
Up. There we go. Yeah, but hell of an episode. I mean, I'm pretty blown away. Honestly, I mean, as crazy it is to say, I'm probably even more blown away by this episode this week than last week. Like as crazy as it is to say, last week tickled my nostalgia, and this week what felt like an adventure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all new.
Yeah.
One thing that really surprised me about this series, give me a second here to get this right, my idea here in my mind. I think where you really saw a drop-off in the series, like the Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi, those seem to be made around a character rather than a story. Whereas I think like especially the first 2 seasons of Mando really seemed like they had a story before the character, or the focus on the character, I should say.
Yep.
And that led me to be weary of this one because these are all characters that, you know, are Filoni's characters in previous stories. But man, it really seems like he nailed this story. I know some people had some gripes about the pacing and stuff and the long shots, but I don't give a crap about that. I think this story is knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. That's what's funny is the long shots are some of the things I like the most about this, because it's like those scenes with Balin and Shihati. Did I say her name right?
Shin Hati.
Shin. I said Shihati. Shihati. Shinhati.
Do you think they gave her that name before or after, like they had her in the outfit with the hair and stuff and all done up?
I'm gonna say they definitely probably had it before, but it fits well. It definitely fits well. But like, I love those scenes when it's like she'll ask a question and Balin will just kind of like be sitting there just like thinking, and then and I'm like, I'm waiting for him to answer, you know, like it's like you want to hear what he has to say. I mean, he is freaking great too, man. I'm it's very sad that he passed away, because this is a great performance.
This is going to be a hard one because I'm pretty sure their story is going to go on. And yeah, do you recast? I mean, do you do reshoots did they do reshoots to wrap him up? Do you recast? Will you be happy with the recast? I mean, that's a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Ray. What's his last name?
Stevens, is it Stevenson?
Ray Stevenson.
Right?
I was giving him
right.
a second. He almost had it.
Stevenson is what I wanted to say. So
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Ray Stevenson. I mean, shout out to him. I mean,
he nailed it. He's been so good the whole time, right? Just he brings that gravitas to the whole role, and you know, it's just it's terrible that we lost him, because I didn't know him really before this, but I'm just, you know, he just naturally fits. You automatically, I buy he was a Jedi. I buy he has regret.
Yeah,
I buy that he's been doing, like, he's been through a lot, and he's now found, okay, this is what he views. He's the hero of his own story. You can see it. And I agree. And look, the pacing to me has always been a highlight of the show. So, I mean, I understand some folks might have a criticism, like, wants to go faster, but I'm like, you got to spend time getting to know these characters, particularly. I mean, we spent a lot of time, if you watch animation, all that, but like, I felt like things like, don't throw the interaction between the Loth Cat and Sabine out, right? Leave that in, because that's relatable and fun, right? It's part of what makes it's an element of Star Wars. Same thing with a dog today, right? Like, or a rat gator dog, or whatever we call that thing. The howler, right? The howler, you see that back and forth. It develops character, makes them human, makes you care about it, right? And you know, what do you say? Like, we're going for a sense greater power here. You have this time that you spend with that character, and you really that's when you fall in love with these characters and you remember them. It's not when they're just action figures that are kind of being thrown around. I mean, that's why we have action figures.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's a good in between Andor and Mando, which would be, like, in my mind, the two extremes here of fast and slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm happy right in that middle spot there. Like, I'm good there. It's been great in my opinion. I mean, like Alfie said, and I think that was a great point, how some of the shows, you know, might just focus on the character. Like, you know, Ahsoka has been very much a part of this show, but it is telling it is telling a bigger story that's going on right now, and you're seeing Ahsoka's development through it. You're seeing Sabine's development. You're being introduced to new dark side characters. We have witches from Dathomir now. We're riding Purgles on a planet. We've got some crazy, weird hyperspace stuff going on right now. We've got howlers. You know, we've got little Ninja Turtle slugs. Like, I mean, how much new stuff have we been given from technically old stuff? You know, it's the perfect blend.
Those Noti crab people, when they first came on, and then, like, again, it was like the music kind of got playful, and I'm like, oh, this could go real bad. Like this could be like, but then I just ended up loving them, right? It was like, yeah, they're okay. They got the village, like, oh yeah, now look, we're Jedi, we got you. Well, yeah, come with us, right? He lives in that jet stream over there, the one with the Jedi symbol. Go check it out. Yeah, I mean, they're just friendly, right, and fun.
Exactly. Like the comparison that comes to mind for me is like you would go from Isengard to like Sauron, like bringing the orcs out in Lord of the Rings, and the bum 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 bum, like you would have that like intense music, and then you went to concerning hobbits in the Shire, essentially. Yep. when
they're like, is it 6 lunch yet? Yeah.
It was the soundtrack has been great, which I haven't given. I heard they released the first half of the show, which like I love listening to like scores of shows. Like I don't even half the time I don't even know the names of the songs. I'll know I like them because I'll just like let it play and sometimes won't even look at the title. So it's like that's a funny thing. I'll know it, but I can't wait to give this a listen, and especially to listen to the scores that were used in this episode. As you said about those organs, like that was some serious stuff there. And in the Death Troopers book, they did mention some organs playing, Alfie. I don't know if you remember that, but they said there was like organs played with like the lungs of the freaking stormtroopers in that one room, or it was like that they were like. I think
are you talking about the Dark Troopers,
the Death Troopers book.
The Death Troopers book. Okay, yeah.
I think they said that like they're like they had like the lungs of the stormtroopers that were almost playing like an organ at one point in that. I am willing to bet that these are undead stormtroopers. I hope it is so bad. I won't be let down if it isn't. Like I'll be okay with that because I know it's like a theory or whatever, but like I didn't hear any of them talk. Did any of them talk other than Goldface?
Yeah, just Goldface.
Yeah.
And what was his name? Did they mention his name in the show?
They mentioned it, and
again with a P or something. I forget.
I can't find it right now.
I'm trying to figure. So Brent said Enoch is interesting to say the least. I can't remember who Enoch is.
Maybe it's Enoch, then. Maybe it didn't begin with a P. Maybe I'm just totally wrong.
I saw the comment and I was like, Enoch.
Well, that's what I was trying to think is if the planet, I'm like, am I still getting this planet's name wrong? Like, what the hell am I doing here? But
Captain Enoch. Let's see.
Thrawn seems worried real quick at the end of that episode.
I think Enoch is the right-hand man, so I'm guessing that's Goldface, which I'm just going to call him Goldface probably until Enoch gets seared into my brain. Alfie, your point though, like, I think it's a great one because it is more of the story, and we didn't spend any time with Ahsoka this episode really. Besides, we had the fairy tale thing at the very beginning, right? And that was just more like setting the stage of, okay, we're going to this place, and we didn't see her again after the title. Besides just hearing a little bit of that Thrawn,
right?
It was just setting this up, and like you said, just something brand new.
I would totally buy a Black Series of one of those samurai Tusken Raider people bandit things.
Yep.
Alfie, this entire episode, I was just sitting there just like, I would buy it. I would buy it. I would buy it. Like every single character that showed up. I mean, how many new costumes and characters were we introduced to tonight? Like
quite a few.
Yeah. Like
well, we get Ezra
on their fingers.
We get Ezra, and he's got the full beard, and he's just claiming complete. Okay, that time in this galaxy far away, living, in the with the Nodi jet streams. He's kind of same with Admiral Thrawn. He looks a little bit different. He's not quite as trim as he was, but he's been living the rough life with the undead soldiers.
He kind of has like a nomadic Aladdin vibe going.
Yeah, I mean,
I was going to say Space Aladdin whenever he came on. It's like, there he is, Space Aladdin. But
there's Space Aladdin.
I mean, you got to give credit to the actor who plays Ezra and the actress who plays Sabine, because so many Star Wars fans were hyped to see that moment of them seeing each other again. And it felt very natural between the two of them in that situation. Like just the interaction between the two of them. I thought it was great. I mean, I'm really... Dude, I'm excited for the potential of this, but it's like the worst part is with like all of this stuff that we see here. It's awesome, but it's like you have sequel trilogy looming. How does this storyline tie into that? We've got Mandoverse going on. Like, I'm like thinking bigger picture here. Like, where does it all tie in? You know what I mean? But like, we all know that Filoni is pegged to do a movie to wrap all of this up. And I mean, holy crap, if like Mando teams up with this squad in the future or something and Thrawn somehow gets through, like, I don't know. It's a very interesting next step in this Disney Plus era of Star Wars. What's going on right now? This is some big shit going on right now.
Yeah, I definitely don't see this being wrapped up in one season. Ahsoka's I would say is definitely going to get a second season. Mando season 4 has got to start crossing over into this. Yeah, that I said earlier in our chat, you're going to have to give me a really good explanation on how this gets wrapped up and no one is involved in it from the New Republic, or there's no input. This doesn't affect the sequel trilogy at all. Because really, what is the threat of Thrawn coming back? He has one Star Destroyer. And you know where he's coming back anyway, so why wouldn't you just be waiting there? And, of course, we know why, because they're being shown that the New Republic is very inept and incapable of dealing with this. But I'm curious to see how they're going to wrap up this story. Is it going to be the Mandos that fight this battle more than the New Republic? I don't know. You would think – Mando's got to form the super team with the Ghost crew here.
Absolutely. I mean, the Night Sisters are his biggest wild card. Like, you saw Sabine's reaction to it. She was like, they're witches. Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, it's an enemy that I don't think they know how to fight. I mean, I'm very curious what Ahsoka's knowledge of Night Sisters is, because I mean, she's had her fights with, Maul after he was like, healed by them and everything. Right. But like off the top of my head, I can't think of what her knowledge is of them. I feel like they're a tough nut to crack. That's something I've really never said before, but it's what came to mind.
And Sabine has firsthand knowledge of the Night Sisters. She was on Dathomir.
You're right.
That's where she found the Darksaber.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm with you too, Alfie. I don't know how this is all going to tie to the sequel trilogy, or I don't know how. I think that's kind of what's fun, but hope they stick the landing, because it's so cool right now. Just like I wanted to like tie everything up and do what it did.
You're really asking me to defy logic, and I can only do that so much. You know what I'm saying? Before it really comes illogical, like I posted today. And it's just a joke. It is. Because, this is all make-believe. They can do whatever they want. But, I keep saying, nope, this cruiser was attacked by 2 people with lightsabers and no one's contacted Luke. He doesn't have like a bat phone or anything on his planet.
Well, and as you said also, Huanger, he would be very useful when you're forming a Jedi Academy. The literal droid with all the knowledge. Why wouldn't you want him over there? Like, I know he's a really good pirate, or not pirate. Maybe
you couldn't even just go there and let him download all his info. Get some floppy disks. Say, hey, no, we have no time for this whatsoever. No time.
No, that's true.
Presumably, he's hanging out with Ahsoka, I guess, right? But we didn't see him in Mando, or not. I'm sorry, Book of Boba Fett, right? Like, he didn't.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Would be useful over there. There's a lot of times where you're like, all right, yeah, I've got to kind of like just turn that part of my brain off. If you do that too much, that can be a problem.
It is, yeah, and it's like I really tried not. I personally I get lost in every episode, and it doesn't cross my mind. But at the same time, it's like when we sit here and chop it up and think about where we're going, it's like there's no doubt that like sequel trilogy is sitting there just like, hey, This is all leading to me, you know? And it's hard to like see that when you saw something insanely badass as what happened in this episode. You know, it's hard to envision it leading to that point, but also I thought that it was a very calculated line with what Balin said when he just was talking about how the process happens over and over again. You know, it's just inevitable. It's just going to happen again. The Empire, the Jedi, all this stuff. So, you know, that's foreshadowing. I immediately looked at that as foreshadowing to the sequel trilogy, and that's where my head went with that one.
Yeah, and that's, I like that line too, because one of the things I did like about Snoke was his line of his warning Kylo Ren that as you know the dark rose, the light would rise to meet it. So it's a nice reverse on that. The enemy expects the good guys to catch up to them at some point, so we have to be on guard. Where in this cycle of it happening over and over again, every single story is the good guys have no idea what the bad guys are doing or that they even exist until it's too late.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I kind of butchered that a little bit, but
no, it does make sense. Absolutely. So we have Thrawn. Thrawn is here. And some stuff is going to go down next episode, and we might see some Purgles getting blasted, which is going to be hard to watch because Purgles are getting blasted next week. There's no doubt there's going to be some strays that are going to get taken down, and they're going to think Ahsoka's on it.
Yeah, is this going to be like an episode of Whale Wars? Did you guys ever watch that show?
I did actually used to watch that show, Whale Wars. Wow, there you go.
I gotta look. I gotta Google Whale Wars. I've not seen Whale Wars.
Oh dude, that show was great. Like there would be people like poaching whales, and like they would have the boat that says research on it, although they were actually just like killing them.
Jeez.
And this boat would literally like pull up next to them and start blasting them with water and everything, and they would send out their like side boats to like screw with them. Man, Alpha, you just brought back some good memories. Me and my brother used to laugh our asses off at that.
Yeah, it was a great show. They tried so hard.
That was funny. And sitting next to me, I have to admit, I said I was going to build Captain Rex last week because he was in that episode, and the tape is still on this. I did not get the chance to build this Lego, so that hurts. Now, Adam, I know you've listened to us. Have you considered dipping your toes into the water of Star Wars Black Series figures at all? Like these guys. Have you seen them on the shelves at all?
I've seen them. It's a Pandora's box. I know. So, I don't know if I've got a ton of Mando Funkos. Basically, anything with the helmet, the T-visor. I'm like, I'm in. I got to get it. And they're all kind of at the office, and then I've got two of those Black Series helmets, and then the one that Damon Juan Kenobi made for me, the LSU, and I love them. But I've not dipped my toe into that Black Series because I know exactly what will happen. That entire wall will be covered with, and it's like
your wall's gonna look like what I have here. It's just a never-ending funnel, But
well, as you said, you watch the show and you're like, oh, Ahsoka in that outfit, that would be cool. I need that over there, right? And
exactly. And that's why I have Ahsoka sitting behind me over here, but it's like they came out with a figure of her in her regular outfit, which I was like, it looks pretty similar to the figure I already have. But I mean, man, that might be my first pre-order, Alfie. If that comes out with that white robe and everything on, that might be my first pre-order.
You never pre-ordered anything yet?
Never have pre-ordered a single thing because I hate waiting for things. We're going on a Disney cruise in November. We booked it like a year and a half ago. In my mind, I just burped. Hopefully you didn't hear that. In my mind, I can't get it out of my head that I'm like, what if I get sick or something for this cruise that I've been waiting for like a year and a half for? Like I can't get that thought out of my mind. And when it comes to the Black Series and the pre-order, I will think about it until I get it. That's what bothers me. And it's just one more thing that I have to think about. when is that coming again? Sometimes you do forget about it, and it is a pleasant surprise when it does show up. But I have
do
enough
kinda
going
like
on.
that.
I have
We
enough
were-
going on in here.
Talking about getting sick before going on a cruise. We were on the boat in line at the check-in, and we're told we didn't have the right documentation to get on the boat.
Oh my God. I would be like, I'm getting on this boat.
Yeah.
Because it
Luck-
takes some serious freaking planning, man.
Oh yeah. After a long discussion about why my wife's name was not the same on her birth certificate as her wedding certificate, that was the whole big holdup. I'm like, can't you just like say that really slow to yourself and figure it out all on your own why her last name is different?
It's crazy.
You think they would have seen that one before, right? I mean,
Yeah, it had to have been somebody's first day or something.
yeah.
I will say though, it is a Disney cruise, and it's on the Disney Wish, the new ship, and I'll be going to the Hyperspace Lounge and getting some drinks. Maybe I'll do like a
Nice.
little live stream in there.
I like it.
Sweet.
But apparently, you used to have to get reservations to get in that Hyperspace Lounge, and now you don't. So I don't know if it's just not as popular as when it first opened or what. But yeah, I've seen the doorway to get in is one of like the Star Wars like sliding doors. So like I'm excited to see that. I mean, it looks pretty Star Wars themed in there, but it's like pretty much just screens behind the bar that make it look like you're in space and everything. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to get a little dose of Star Wars. I mean, that's around the corner for me. And I'm doing Disney again. So we'll see. Maybe I will build the lightsaber this year. I don't know.
That really, we did both. We did the droid and we did the lightsaber. Like I said, I kind of got booked. You know, my daughter made a rainbow. Like it's got all kinds of stuff R2, and I mean it drives around the house. It scares my 2-year-old like to death, and it's hilarious. But the building of the lightsaber was the most fun. I mean, her eyes lit up when she turned it on and all that kind of stuff. She still insists that it's her lightsaber, and I'm like, I mean, I made a purple and gold one. Come on, like it's got all the gold elements and everything, right? It had the purple crystal, but it's just the whole thing. The presentation's fun, and I know it's like $200, but it was totally worth it. It was fun. I'd do it again. Now I've already told the other one like that, hey, when we go to Disney again, I'm gonna make another one. And then my other daughter's like, my older one's like, well, I'm making one too. I'm like, we're gonna have like $600 worth of lightsabers back here. But
I know. The biggest mistake I made, which is why I'm really excited. Like we were going for the cruise, and then we decided to go all in, and we're going to go to Disney for like 3 days before the cruise, and then they give you like transportation to the cruise ship. So like this is like an all-out vacation. It's like this thing has evolved. That's what happens when you plan it that early in advance. It just turns into something else. And what I'm excited about is it's like I always heard about people going to Galaxy's Edge and everything, and it's like I refuse to watch any YouTube on it. I refuse to even look at a map of it. It's like I just wanted to go in blind, and it actually kind of screwed me because I couldn't get into the cantina. I didn't book that early enough. I should have done the research on that. I couldn't get into the store because you had to make a reservation to get into the store because I wanted to buy a lightsaber when I was there. I wanted to buy my thing was it was like if I got into that store, I was buying Mace Windu's lightsaber. I just love his purple lightsaber. It's like when I was a kid, it was just something that I wanted, and I knew they had it there. I'm like, I want that. I go to the store and I see the line there, and I'm like, oh, could I just get in line? And then it's like you need to sign on to the virtual queue. Well, the virtual queue didn't pop up until like fireworks were going off at the park, so that wasn't happening. So yeah, I think we went to Epcot that night, and then I got the update like right as about the fireworks. Yeah,
there you go.
You can come into the store now. It's just like yeah. So I'm not dropping the ball for Galaxy's Edge this year. And my dad hates Star Wars. I won't say I won't say he hates it. He just won't watch it. That's why I don't know how I'm into it, because neither of my parents are into it. I've asked them like, who got us these VHS tapes when I was a kid? Because thank God they did. But
Yeah.
my goal is to get him on the Millennium Falcon ride when we're there. Like, I think
That's
he'll
my
like
favorite.
that.
That's my favorite ride at Disney too, right? I know,
That's a good one.
and I got to say, we got so I had the sister-in-law like books all everything whenever we go, and she's the best. And I'm like, you have to come to Disney World every single time because I can't. Like, you try to figure out the app, and it's like there's just too much. I can't do this. It's a full-time job. Please help. So anyway,
Yeah.
she got us like Rise of the Resistance tickets, and my daughter at the time was I guess she was about three and a half. And every tunnel ride just scared the bejesus out of her. So like we get inside of the Rise of the Resistance. I don't remember any of it because the first thing she climbed like on top of my head and I saw nothing. So I just kind of, I have no idea what happened in that ride.
Yeah.
Except for they were kind of mean to me whenever I was walking in like the Imperial folks. That's about all I remember. But the Falcon was just so much fun. Like when it takes off in the hyperspace first time, it's just And I'm glad they're also. I want to see now, like the actual like, hey, Ahsoka's walking around the park, and they had Boba walking around the park, and that's just cool.
Yeah, I think they're realizing it was kind of a bad idea to be like, this is only Batu, and we can't talk about anything else that has
Terrible
to do with Star
idea.
Wars.
I don't know. I understand why. Okay, we're trying to really sell it's display, but I mean, come on, man. You've got all this IP just sitting there. Darth Vader rolls down the street. Everybody's freaking out. They're gonna, here, take my wallet. Take my, doesn't have to make narrative linear sense. It doesn't make sense in the timeline a lot of times. We have to patch it up with duct tape and make things fit. Just let it walk around the park.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what Disney today announced that they're investing like hardcore into the parks for the next 10 years. That they're going to be putting like, I forget what the number was, but I think it's 2 or 3 times more than it was for the last 10 years. Like they're going to throw a ton of money into the parks over the next 10 years. They have 1,000 acres of land to build on. They were showing like all their IPs and how successful they've been. And Star Wars was one of them, which like the Galactic Cruiser cannot put a stain on Star Wars name because you're like, the idea is just right in front of you. You have the original trilogy. You have all these great things that people will love that are timeless. Use the timeless stuff and you can make money off of it. Like, there you go. I mean, Galaxy's Edge was cool. I really didn't have many complaints about Galaxy's Edge. Like, I had fun there and it was cool. And it's funny, Rise of Resistance, me and my little guy, when we went last time, I think he was 4.5, maybe 5 years old. And the ride broke down and we were stuck in like the tunnel section of the line where it has all of like the rebel style like maps in the room, like you're in like a cave and you can hear like walkers going over the top of the cave and everything. And we were in there for like 40 minutes and he was like, is there really stuff going on above us right now? Because it sounds like it. Like that line, the wait in that line was really cool. So I'm excited to hit it again. I don't know if I'll hit Rise of Resistance again just because that line apparently gets crazy. I beeline to it the second the park opened. So and that was still a 45-minute wait when I did that. I've heard it can get like up to 2 hours for that ride.
We had to be there the minute the park opened, and we didn't ride it until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There was no line. There was only a virtual queue, and you had to be there when the park opened to get in it.
I think the virtual queue is not a bad idea because they were building Guardians of the Galaxy last time I went. So I'm excited to hit that this time. That's the one that's like on my list for this one is Guardians of the Galaxy, which I just watched the 3rd movie of that 2 weeks ago.
I'm ready for the let's ride the Purgle. I mean, just
there you go.
I mean, it'd be one of those rides like the Falcon. Just hey, it's VR, or they've got the projection, and you just ride in the Purgle and you're ready to go. I mean,
dude, that would be awesome. That would be incredible. I mean, they've got something with Ahsoka, and I hope they realize that. That's what I'm hoping for Disney as a company is. I hope they see what Filoni is doing with this show. I hope they see that he understands the pulse of the Star Wars fan and that like this can be the future of your franchise right here, pretty much.
Yeah. And, comparing it with like Rey, Ahsoka was not very well received when she first came out, and he just really worked at making it a better character and giving her layers and layers of story.
Mm-hmm.
And I constantly say, I hate that. Man, they just really dropped the ball with those sequel characters. They did absolutely nothing with them after The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
That movie feels like they can't get done with it fast enough.
Yeah.
Just to say it's over and done with. We made 3 movies. Let's move on.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's one thing that hurt the Star Cruiser that they had was like the show they had was Rey versus Kylo Ren in there. And it's like, well, they're technically like cool with each other. So like it really didn't make sense to me, I guess you could pretend that you're in, The Last Jedi or whatever. But yeah, I mean, let Dave Filoni get his paws on the Ray sequel. I mean, I'd be in on that. Like, I'm in to see more Ray either way. Like, I'm in to see what their vision is for her future either way. I'll be in the theater seeing it. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I might have some thoughts about it or whatever, but it's like you have proven directors who have worked on all of these shows, and I just think it's time for Disney as a whole, for Star Wars to realize, like, yo, these are the guys who get it. The directors of The Mandalorian, Favreau, Filoni, Ron Howard's daughter, which I can't think of her name.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard. Michael Acuna or Rick. I can't pronounce his last name. There's so many directors on this who just get it. So it's right in front of your face. I just hope that, I don't know. I'm just feeling like giddy after this episode tonight about the future of Star Wars.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
I wish that we could also, I'm not saying I want to watch 8 episodes back to back, in a theater, but man, this would have been fun. And 5 would have been, I don't mean to rub the sore spot there again, but I mean, like how great would it have been to see this just in the theater? Because I felt like my mouth was open the whole time I'm watching it. I'm going,
oh, I know.
Wait,
I was thinking the same thing. You could have done episode 5 and episode 6 in the theater, and the crowd would have went freaking wild. Like there would have been a line outside the movie theater to watch this one again.
They may consider it, right? Because they're not going to have a huge queue of content in the near future unless this, strike issues get settled quickly. It's like, hey, you got to start putting something in there, and you've got all this IP that's in the. Just put it out. Like, go, hey, we're going to have. There'll be like you can watch 3 at a time, 4 at a time, or something, right? And then break, and then watch the second half. There's empty screens right now.
Yeah,
I have no idea what's really going on.
You could even supplement it with like episodes of The Mandalorian or something.
There you go.
Just like Star Wars Fun Night or some shit on. Well, sorry about that. On who wouldn't want to go see that? And I think
Star Wars Fun Night or some shit. I'll be in on that.
I think this is really a testament to one of the biggest complaints about the sequels. And I hate to compare everything to the sequels, but it's the newest thing that we have to compare it to. And that is to take your time with this stuff and flesh out a story, get it right before, you're almost done with it. I understand there's always going to be, in the world of making movies and TV shows, there's always going to be last minute changes, but have a vision and a direction. I think Mando season 1 was way more successful than they anticipated and opened the doors to this, to where they could take a step back and say, hey, people like this. What can we do with it? How can we make it bigger?
Yeah.
And
how much of the Star Wars fan base is keeping Disney Plus alive? That's like my question, because and that's where, that's why I always get worried, is because everything definitely has to be the bottom line when it comes to Disney and Star Wars. How much money is it making for us? Well, you had the Star Cruiser that they invested like $1 billion into, that's getting scrapped now. You have Galaxy's Edge, which some people love it, some people don't. and like vision wise, like it's very cool to go there, and I have fun going there, but it's like you could have done some different things to just give yourself that flexibility, give yourself the flexibility to work in the universe that is so expanded. You have everything from the prequels to the original trilogy to the sequels to all these shows. Give yourself like almost like a clean slate that you can just play with in this park. Like you don't need to just say this is Batu in the sequels. The cast members aren't allowed to talk to you about anything, about other Star Wars that hasn't happened yet or whatever, But
we don't sell merchandise that doesn't exist on Batu.
Yeah,
like that blows my mind. I mean, I know it's so silly to say, but we're talking about Disney, and they painted themselves into a corner on what they could get you to buy, what they could sell you.
And what's so silly about it is like every phase of every Star Wars ever has like a desert kind of, junker type planet, right? And I'm like, it's literally Batu's setting. So you could just say, hey, guess what? It's sequel Thursday, right? And where they're gonna have, you could literally do all the various phases and different days of the week if you so desired. And I'd be like, oh crap, I've got to go back. It's OT Monday. Or, it's prequel Tuesday, and, oh, hey, it's Mando Wednesday. Like it literally could be that. And they all have desert planets. It's not like it would be, well, this makes no sense. I've put, this time frame with it. I mean, they built a canvas and they're like, but it's Batu. It has to be Batu. Like, no, it could literally just be a campus. Like there's a cantina, like there's cantinas in every single iteration of Star Wars. Like, why
make it a Star Wars sandbox? Essentially, you can just play with it whatever way you want, and I think that's where they're going with it. Like Alfie said, we've got Ahsoka in there, we've got Mando in there now. Like
Bob, you need to listen, Bob. Come on, Bob.
Even like the cantina, why would you make it so small? Everyone's
make like a massive.
Why would you make it so small and there's no place to sit?
Yeah, make a massive cantina that like people are just going to go in and like add a bunch of tables there. But I don't know. They just made it very exclusive.
We had a great time there. Don't get me wrong, but man, it really would have been nice to have sat down.
Yeah, I need to get in there this time. I'm going. So
I hate to admit, but I will that is the most expensive bar tab I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what mine turns into when we're there, because I plan on enjoying myself there. But then again, I only drink beer, and I see these crazy like mixed drinks that they make there. So maybe
I'll go through they're pretty wild, all the tubes and all that other kind of stuff.
Maybe I'll dip into the mixed drinks when I'm there. But
I bought both at the Cup.
Okay.
And I think they were $75 a piece.
Damn.
Yeah.
Is it like a mug that has like, isn't there like a special mug they have or something?
Yeah. There was two different ones. One looks like a porg and like it's carved out of wood. And then the other one is indoor with the dish and the trees and the Ewoks and everything. They're really cool.
I miss saying hi to Matt Tween at 10:35. Totally missed that comment, by the way.
Hey, Matt Tween, what's up?
So, yeah, I mean, hey, I think we hit it all tonight, guys. I mean, if you guys have any final thoughts on this, I mean, I'm just jacked about this episode that we saw tonight and just like the finale of this show. I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I mean, it's one of the best shows I've seen on Disney Plus. Really, it's like, it's great. I'm really enjoying it. So, final thoughts wise, we'll hit Alfie first, and then we'll let Adam close us out. Our special guest for the show, Alfie. Final thoughts on what we got going on here for this Ahsoka episode and the future of it.
This episode was amazing. I cannot wait to go back and watch this and analyze like every second of it. Man, I think it was kind of a swing and no, because they were in Rebels. I was going to say it was going to be a swing and a miss not to incorporate the Nograi, Thrawn's bodyguards
Oh yeah, yeah.
This would be kind of a perfect setting since it's another galaxy, but they were in Rebels, so take that back. So overall, yeah, we're back to this being a perfect episode then.
We're back. We're back.
We're back. I think Ezra was great. Him and Sabine, great. New creatures, new aliens, a whole new galaxy. I love absolutely everything of this episode.
Love it. Love it. All right. And Adam, thanks for joining us, man. You've been in the comments and everything. And I mean, you've been riding with us on these watch parties. So number one, thanks for joining the show tonight. I mean, seamless again. Star Wars is just the best thing because we can have people together here. I'm in Philly, Alfie's in Indy, you're in Louisiana, right? Baton Rouge. You know, it's like we can just get together and talk for 2 hours pretty much about all this. So what do you got for your final thoughts tonight?
Well, yeah, no, thanks for having me on and like just doing this, right? Like was perfectly happy being in the chat, just being like, it's fun. It's like just listening to y'all chop it up about Star Wars is just fun, right? Like it's a good way to spend a Tuesday night. And I'm so happy that they're doing this at 8:00 Central Time. And I'm not waking up at like 2 in the morning or waking up at 5, like, and getting I do this thing. I get in 5 o'clock in the morning, go get in the treadmill so I could watch whatever came out. Right. Like,
yeah.
And I get up, pretty early most days anyway. Right. But I like this. It's so much better because you can actually talk about it and enjoy it. So, and just thanks for doing the watch parties. They've been awesome and fun. And the podcast is awesome and fun anyway.
Appreciate it.
I know I said all the stuff about like the soundtrack and how all the visual things, like this just hit every note, right? Like, it's what Star Wars storytelling should be. Alfie might get mad at me, but I loved Andor and I still do, but I love it in a different way, right? It doesn't feel it's like a loving a drama, right? It's not the same. This is just Star Wars, right? It has, that kind of ominous, hey, look at the stormtrooper line, this impressive, awesome thing. Look at this, destroyer going over the top of all this intricate detail that all the people in the show put their heart and soul into. Look at Thrawn. Look at the way they made his eyes. Like his eyes were just so impressive. I was like, how did they do that? Right?
That's why I kept staring at.
They pulled they didn't pull some contacts out. Like I'm like, it's not just okay. Well, that's just some visual effect. It just was is amazing, right? All these different things come together, and then you then go to like a scene where they're like basically reenacting with Gator Dog or whatever we call that thing.
I like Gator
Howler.
Dog.
Yeah, and it was just great. It was fun to kind of spend an hour there, and I can't wait to see where it goes. You always get to this point in the season of these things, and you're like, oh man, only 2 episodes left. Like I've been looking forward to it but I don't feel that way. I just feel like excited to see so much new stuff done so well and to fit in so perfectly with the rest of Star Wars. So it was awesome.
Yep. I agree. And that is how I feel as well. It's like we got these 2 episodes coming up, but it's like, they're like any type of fear for a letdown, after episode 5 was like immediately wiped away when this started, because you're just locked into this show. Like it really just pulls you in every episode. I'm just really happy that they're doing this, and it just feels very creative, and I'm excited to see where it goes for the next 2 weeks. So from me, from Rule the Galaxy podcast, we appreciate you coming on, Adam. It was great. It was a fun night tonight. I can't wait to see what we got next week. The watch party will be going again. We'll be ready to go. And from me, from Alfie, from Adam, until next time, may the Force be with you.